Stillness and blessings, family. Thank you for joining me in this Cosmic Conscious Hour as we tap into this 417 Hertz frequency. Allow all negative energies to be cleansed and removed. If you're at home, allow all lower vibratory frequencies to be removed from your house. If you're traveling, allow all lower vibratory frequencies to be removed from the highway. Enjoy this Tibetan bowl meditation. Thank you. Namaste. Stillness and blessings, wonderful people. Love and light, health and wholeness. Stillness and blessings, wonderful people. Love and light, health and wholeness. Once again, stillness and blessings, wonderful people. Love and light, health and wholeness. Before I begin, I did this earlier when I had a break in the earlier part of the day, and I had to delete it because the sun was shining so bright on me. The sun rays had it blurry, and then the sound was off. But for those who tap in as soon as I posted the video, because I seen as soon as I posted it, it was a couple of views up. But then when I went back, my editing is going back and look at the video, and if the message is blurred, then I'll delete it. I don't care if I look good or if it look good or not. But if you can't hear me clearly, then I'm gonna delete the message, because it's not about the message, it's about the message. But anyway, I had deleted the video. With that said, I greet you in the universal salutation of peace, my wonderful people. And the reason why I'm saying that, because I was listening to something earlier. As we go into the forward, I was listening to something earlier, and it touched me. It was said that the only evidence you have to convince. Basically, it said you have to convince people. Anyway, if no one ever told you that you're wonderful, I'm happy to be the first. I heard it saying that touched me. It was said, I gotta figure it out. Say most people want you to show them evidence before they believe you are wonderful. And that was the purpose of me saying this. And then in the process of this, my inner being said to me, you gotta see it in yourself to see it elsewhere. Hello? So, blessings to my wonderful people because I see it in myself. Always have hope. Hope feels amazing and it keeps you feeling alive. Learn to hit your reset button through every experience. That means be aware of where you're at emotionally based on what you're thinking. Being on the path isn't knowing when you're on the path. Being on the path means knowing when you're not. I'll give y'all a minute. Knowing when you're not aligned and not in sync. Otherwise, we're always on the path regardless of what it is or whether we conscious of it or not. My mission is to assist us in becoming conscious and vibrationally aware on a daily basis because this is a lifestyle. You can't turn it on and turn it off. Find things about you that make you fall in love with yourself and then share it with others. Inspire, compliment, and encourage through truth, love, and consciousness. Feel good for no reason at all. Life looks different when you do. Think about it. When your inner being is in well-being, you see it everywhere because you have it in you. With that, we're going to proceed to the ADK loop, Law of Life, Book 2. We're still in Ascended Masters, Cosmic and Divine Beings. We're in the second part of Saint Germain. We're in the second part of Saint Germain. Then, as Christian Rosenkreuz of Germany in the 14th century, y'all pardon me, Chip gonna bark on he hear anything. Then, as Christian Rosenkreuz of Germany in the 14th century, he was sent to a monastery when only 5 years of age. He became a monk with real occult and spiritual knowledge. He journeyed through various countries, and when only 16, he came into contact with the wise men of Damkar in Arabia, who received him as the one they had long expected. He learned Arabic there and translated a secret book into Latin. Later, he brought it to Europe. He went to Egypt after that and was welcomed by the Egyptian Brotherhood of the Great Brotherhood, probably at Luxor, to which he had belonged in past lives. He went through the initiations there. Then Rosenkreuz returned to Germany and founded the Order of the Rosy Cross, of which Rosicrucian is an offspring. The order consisted of only around 30 or 40 members, but it did form a school or focus for the secret mysteries and occult knowledge of the Great Brotherhood in Europe, which gave a direct connection with the retreat. It was said that Saint Germain was John Hunyadi, who was a great adept born in Transylvania, Hungary, in the early part of the 15th century, about 1387, 1456. Saint Germain, as Christopher Columbus, 1446-1506, exhibited tremendous perseverance in that lifetime. History tells us that he discovered America in 1492, but it is claimed that this was not his first trip to this land, nor can you discover a place that was already there. Columbus was a learned, cultured, and talented person, a nobleman and not a beggar. He obtained much navigation information from the courts of Europe, particularly Spain and England. Some of Columbus' cryptic writings are still in existence, which definitely bear out these facts. It was said from this time on, Saint Germain was embodiment continually. Paracelsus, 1493-1541, Encyclopedia dates. A Swiss chemist, physician, and theosophist was born near Zurich. He assumed the name of Aurelius Theophrastus Paracelsus. He learned from his father the rudiments of medicine, astrology, and alchemy. He traveled over most parts of Europe performed some healings, and claimed to have discovered an elixir that would prolong life. He had an immense reputation in physics and surgery. His doctrine was that chemistry was to prepare medicines and not to make gold. It is claimed that he was interested in that secret book translated by Christian Rosencreutz. There is mention made of Saint Germain having a short embodiment before that of Francis Bacon. He was to have come to America as a boy with DeSoto and lived on the Wissahickon River in Pennsylvania. And depending on who is the historian writing, it may be discrepancies in the history of these accounts. Saint Germain's last embodiment was that of Francis Bacon, 1561-1684, a philosopher and English writer. He was the son of Queen Elizabeth and rightful heir to the throne. This he was denied by the actions of his own mother. He wrote various books and articles under several different names, including plays by Shakespeare. A cipher code runs through these writings relating his real identity and the intrigue in court which prevented him from getting the right to the throne by which he had hoped to form a United States in Europe. Could this have been done, there would have been no war there, since James I became king instead. He misused government funds, but Francis Bacon, holding the accounts of England, took the blame for the wrong committed to save the king and country. Bacon used his plays and writings to influence the constituting of the English language of the day. He supervised and edited the authorized version of the Bible, then being translated, which was directed by King James. Bacon's great work, the Novum Organum, written in Latin, led the way to the development of modern inductive logic. This was the second instrument of thought. The first was Aristotle's Organon, and the third is Ouspensky's Tertium Organum. It is believed by some that he passed on in 1626. He let it appear that way anyway and attended his own funeral in a woman's garb. Shango. But he did not leave the earth plane till May 1st, 1684. He went from England to Rákóczi Mansion in Transylvania and ascended on the freedom flame there into his eternal victory. The goddess of liberty was the first one to meet him on the other side. He then went into the great silence for some time. He was known as Prince Rákóczi of Transylvania and took many embodiments in that part of the world, thereby drawing and establishing the freedom flame there. When he had passed the initiation whereby he was made the focus of the freedom flame to earth, he first embodied as a shepherd boy in Transylvania. He then, for centuries in each succeeding lifetime, intensified and expanded that flame. The Master R, known to us now as the Divine Director, was his teacher and mentor and overshadowed or enfolded him in his Divine Director's cosmic flame, as it was done in the case of Maitreya with the Master Jesus or Yeshua. The Master Saint Germain appeared again in Europe and was known there during the time from 1710 to 1822, particularly. He appeared in his visible, tangible body in the various countries under various names. He kept close connections with influential people in these countries. He was known as Count de Saint-Germain in France, as the Wonderman in Germany, as Comte Bellemare in Venice, as Prince Rákóczi at Dresden, and by other names at various different places. He was considered very wealthy, and no one could determine from whence his wealth came. It is not generally known that he was an ascended being at that time, which explains how he could so easily perform the superhuman feats, and why he did not partake of food. Being ascended, he was therefore a complete master over physical matter. He could appear in more than one place at the same time. He did not have to rely on outer world transportation and could precipitate whatever jewels, ornamentation, and such like that he wished. His reason for exhibiting such wealth was for influential purposes, as that did impress them as nothing else would. We're in a seeing and believing world. He called himself Saint Germain, Sanctus Germanus, which means holy brother. He would know what letters or newspapers contained without reading them. He could speak any language perfectly. He refused to accept any presents or benefits. He influenced the lives of many famous people, persons, in governmental positions. He played a great part in the political world in America as well as in Europe during the 18th century. The original system of secret diplomacy was instigated by him. Saint Germain was personally known by the French kings Louis XV and XVI and Queen Marie Antoinette. Had they heeded his advice, it would have saved their and many others their lives during the French Revolution. Saint Germain told us in the latter 1930s that Marie Antoinette was at that time good at heart, but did not withstand the influence at court. that she was an embodiment again in France, and that he would see that she was brought in contact with this instruction. Saint Germain was known by and worked with others in the French court, including Count Rochambeau. It is evident that the French expedition to America during the Revolutionary War in America and the appointment of General Rochambeau as its commander all came about through Saint Germain's influence. He gave the elixir of life to several people, which restored youth and beauty to them. He would write 2 different topics, one with each hand, and at the same time, he instructed and assisted Mesmer in his work. Was known by Cagliostro, he exhibited alchemy to Casanova and assisted Charles of Hesse in the study of the secret science. I thank you for your time. I thank you for your patience. And I thank you for your courtesy. Like, share, subscribe. And I thank you for your donations. My Cash App is $SAIWOODAGOD. That's $Saúde God. Stillness and blessings, love and light, health and wholeness to my wonderful people. 1.